What's up, guys? Well, yeah, it's time to change things up again. I did the filler neck and the jerry can in the back of the truck. If you missed it, that was in the last episode. And I went to bed that night and I was just kind of like, I don't know, it didn't sit totally, like, I think it came out all right. But at the same time, I started thinking about it. It's like, man, I just wonder if there's something more kind of custom. And then the way that the jerry can was cut to fit the wheel well, yeah, it made it to where the filler neck and everything, where it would work really well, but it looked kind of odd. And it was just kind of, I don't know, kept going back and forth in my head. And so I was just kind of thinking about it and just, it was kind of back there nagging at me a little bit. And then I'd already went and put the video out, so it was already out there. And I got really good feedback by it. Some of you guys thought it was a really cool idea. Some of you didn't think it was a very good idea. Like, it kind of looked odd, and maybe it would have looked better as a full jerry can pushed up against the back of the bed, but I didn't want to cut into the space that much, especially in that area. Then I got this comment from Don Dayton. Says that gas can is a cop-out and you're better than that. And that was kind of the nail in the coffin. I was like, you know what, that's really a good compliment. The fact that he knew I could do better than that. And I knew I could do better than that. So today we're gonna do better than that. And what's the old saying anyways? It's not failing if you're learning. So we learned something there, that didn't look the best. I wouldn't call it a failure. I'd just call it, I could do better. So I went to the junkyard and I bought a filler door off of a 96 Ford Windstar. Remember those? No, this filler door is not going into the side of the bed. We're actually stealing a General Motors idea, but doing it with Ford parts. I don't really need this part. All I need is this workings right here. This spring. You guys probably getting where I'm going with this. Some of the late 40s Cadillacs, especially the 1956 Chevrolet. Yeah, tail light. So let's see if we can make this idea into a reality. I haven't seen it done on a unibody. It may have been done on a unibody before, but I wasn't able to find it. That being said, guys, let's get to going. All right, so with the unibody, it's gonna be a little tricky making this work just because this is such a narrow tail light in comparison to a lot of other trucks, especially later F-Series trucks. But the idea is to get it to fold down, and then in here will be the filler neck. And I think I might have to get a low profile gas cap just because it'll go in there, but it's not real easy to get in or out. So maybe try to find a low profile vented gas cap that'll fit into the filler neck. Really, all I need off of this thing is this mechanism here. The spring is super tight, so I'm not worried about it ever dropping down while driving because it's got to fight that spring, which is very solid. So this unit actually fits in here with a little jockeying as is. I was thinking I was already going to have to trim those off. Yeah, it takes a little moving around, but this is the basic idea. That's not going to be the final position, but this is the idea here. Just kind of test fitting. Just getting the welder in there. This is going to be a fun little experiment. So what I'm quickly finding out is that trying to position this thing perfectly with it in is not very easy to do. I started out just by tacking and then cutting and then retacking, but I'm finding that using this electrical tape allows me to kind of make a few little adjustments, get things where they look like they're going to work well, and keep going back and forth until it's where I want it, and then I can tack it. I wish I would have done that like 45 minutes ago, because then, yeah, that would have saved me about an hour. So one thing I found a little tricky about, you guys like this? These frayed wires. This is how I found them. Connected to the original wiring here. Apparently somebody had tied them together and just put tape on them. So somebody's been back here doing something. But yeah, found them like that. We're gonna have to extend them anyways. But something a little tricky to deal with back here. This, I've found would have been a lot simpler to do this on maybe the later F100s, as the unibodies have this set in recessed tail light, where the tail light sits. And to get this to fold up, this bottom part sticks way too far out. And once you get a lens on there, it just looks awkward compared to the other side that's much more set in. So what I need to come up with is some way to maybe have a rocker so that to get over this lip right here and not scratch the paint, which is really close already. And then when you fold it up, it sticks out way too far. Some kind of rocker way that it can kind of go in, set in, and then when I go to fill up the tank, pull from the bottom, and it will come out at the bottom and then fold down. Does that make sense? Kind of get over this lip and then be able to go back up and then kind of lay back in. All right, guys, I think we're onto something here. What's going to be tricky is getting this out, because this being the unibody and it's setting in so far. I'm going to have to come up with something, maybe a little thing on the side, try to be as incognito that I could put my finger on and pull it out. But it looks like I've solved the issue of getting around this lip right here. It comes out and then I can fold it down. Obviously I'm going to have to put some soft felt or something all around here, because I can see this ending up scratching up the inside of this, but maybe not. Maybe, with enough, putting a lot of soft stuff in there would keep from doing that. But I just put it on a pivot. I just got a piece of tube and then ran some thread stock through there, and it allows it to pivot. And then I'll put a limiter so it can't hit the paint. But that's looking pretty good. Then also checking, bought one of these just to be 100% sure, because I'd hate to do all this and then it not work. I'd still be able to get a fuel nozzle in here. Just barely though. All right, well, I got the taillight lens on, and I think that looks pretty good. It sticks out a little bit further than the other side, but hey, I'm not gonna get hung up on that. It needs to stick out a little bit further to make the mechanism work, and also it's sticking out a little bit further keeps me from having to put some sort of handle, some sort of obvious out of place thing, because it sticks out just enough that I can get my fingers on the side of the lens and pull it down. So yeah, that works good. And for those of you that were fans of the jerry can, this round stock, hollow round tube, came from the vent tube that was inside the jerry can that would allow it to fill up. So the jerry can lives on in this creation here, because I used the vent tube to for the tubing there to allow this to pivot. So yeah, that's a $40 piece of tube there. But it works, and it looks better than the jerry can, in my opinion. Now, we just got to figure out how to get the filler neck in here. I'm not going to be able to weld in there whatsoever. It looks like probably going to have to cut from the back. I'll show you what I'm working with here. So as you can see, looking in there, there is really no room to work with. So I'm probably going to have to cut that metal piece off the back to be able to come up with something to have the filler neck tube at the angle that I want it for this to work out. So this here is the back side of the filler neck. I've kind of got it just tacked in, mocked in right now. But here's a little tip for some of you guys that are like me and don't have the cool flaring tool. If you want to flare, to put a hose on and put a clamp on the other side, it's very helpful, especially if it's hard to get to place or whatever, to build a flare into that. And they have a tool that you can put in the flaring machine, dies, and then it'll put a flare into whatever you're going to put a hose on. Well, what I've done, and it's always worked out for me, is just use a little bit of JB Weld and just build up a little lip, and then you'll end up putting the hose on and the clamp on the other side, and it's never gone anywhere for me. So that's just a poor man's tip on being able to keep your hoses on. Alrighty, it's all mocked in, tacked up. Nice thing is it sticks out just far enough to where there's a little ridge on the side of this tail light where I can just grab it. I don't have to have any kind of anything sticking out, defeating the purpose of it being a hidden fuel filler. So I can just walk right up, pull it out, get to my gas cap. This is a tight fit, but I'm gonna try to find a lower profile gas cap. Then the fuel filler goes all the way in, doesn't touch anywhere where paint will be. The line will run actually out of here, so clears all that. That looks good. I'm stoked on it. The taillight does stick out just a little bit further than the stock one on the other side, which is not a big deal. It actually kind of flushes with the body there. So I might actually shim the other one out just to match, to compensate. Otherwise, that's just going to drive me nuts. But yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, so obviously this is where the fuel filler neck comes out, and what I'm going to be doing with the bed is I'm going to be raising the bed all one level height. And what that's going to do, I'm going to have a little bit of storage room in here in the tailgate. When I close the tailgate, to be able to access the storage, it'll just be open. When I open the tailgate, I can get to jumper cables, stuff like that for the Model A, some Model A extra parts for when I go do some exhibition races with the Model A, be able to carry that stuff in the storage area, have the bed height sitting right about here, level with where the top of the hump is. So that's going to come to about right here. So it's not going to be too big of a deal just to build a little metal cover. And it'll be very short. Won't even hardly notice that it's there. A lot more discreet than a jerry can or just a gas cap sticking up out of the top of the wheel well. So as you can see here, the tail light's pretty much just flush with the body in the way that it used to sit in really, really deep. I actually like this better. And again, it's easy to open, close, and I am going to put some soft felt or something, rubberized something on the back side of this. But yeah, that's it working from that side. It'll be interesting if I ever visit one of those states where they don't let you pump your own gas. And I'll just pull up and be like, oh, I don't know where it is. I just bought the thing. And I just measured it over on the stock side. This taillight is sticking out almost exactly 1/4 inch more than stock. So I actually think that looks good. So I'm going to shim the other side to make it match, just to have them both look exactly the same. That's just fun. I can't stop doing this. Just love it when a plan comes together. One thing I wanted to mention too that is probably on your mind as it was on mine is, will this come open if I hit a good enough bump going down the road? And really, to get it open, the spring, especially to get it past this, it wants to spring back no matter what. But to get it past like this point takes a good amount of effort. So I don't foresee it ever, I mean, maybe if I jumped it, ever coming out and falling down while going down the road. Well, I think it's safe to say I'm stoked on how the filler neck came out. I like it a lot better than the jerry can. I like it a lot better than it just sticking out of the top of the wheel well. And I think in general, I'm gonna be a lot happier with this. I already am a lot happier with this. Excited how it came out. The whole filler situation doesn't look like an afterthought anymore. It's more integrated into the truck, which is what I was going for. I saw that we picked up some new subscribers, guys. Welcome. Happy to have you here. If you guys are subscribed and you want the notifications, just hit that little bell down there in the corner, and it'll send you like a text or an email when I upload a video. So it'll just keep you in the loop on the truck. That way you don't have to go back later and look, oh, has he posted anything in a while? You'll be notified. Shouldn't be too long at all for the next video to come out. I'm already shooting that one, working in the bed. So excited to get that one done and out soon. If you like the video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. It really helps me out, lets me know you care, and lets more people get exposed to this project I got going on here. As always, guys, feel free to leave a comment. I read every single one of them, and I really like hearing what you guys have to say. I appreciate the comments very much. And the more people we can get watching these videos means more ad revenue, which goes directly back into the channel with more projects and cool parts and stuff like that. Every bit of the revenue goes right back into this stuff. So in reality, the more views we get, the cooler stuff we get. See? Well, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.